All right, so I'm live on YouTube. Let me know if you can hear me on YouTube as well. Um, and then we go from there. So I'm on live on YouTube now. Link is in my profile. So ask me any question on YouTube. I'm live. Yeah, so I will be answering this question on YouTube. As I said before, I want this session to be recorded. So I would appreciate if you come to YouTube and ask this question, because then these questions keeps repeating and repeating. Um, and I have to answer the same question. So I would appreciate if you ask the same question to me on YouTube. Session will be recorded. Your question you ask me can be helpful to somebody else. So that's why I'm saying join me on YouTube. Ask me this YouTube, right? So I'm live on YouTube now, and I'm taking questions. So again, type in the chat box on YouTube, and we go from there. So while we wait for more people on YouTube, and if you cannot hear me, let me know, but I believe you can hear me. So a couple of confusion, right? I think so. The idea is that about this YouTube and knowledge sharing, whichever, right? So I believe there's a ton of stuff available on YouTube and so many training platform where you can go and learn yourself, right? But the idea is that there is information overload, right? So how would you decide what you need to learn? And I've seen still people coming with the question on old technologies, and that's what I'm trying to clear. That you should not be working on the technology which is going away. You should rather developing your career, work on the skill sets which are going to be in demand in the new future, which are going to be demand in these days. This is what is going to be helpful, and that what you need to be learning. And that's why I've been vocal on that, right? So, and that's the reason where I'm trying to give you the directions, right? And some people came back, and paid training, that's a whole different conversation I want to clear in the beginning. So boot camp is different thing, right? So it's like you kind of hire me as a trainer, as an instructor-led training. So that's the concept of the boot camp. But all that stuff is free if you need an advice, interview advice, a career guideline, what's going in this IT market, what course it needs to be taken. Yeah, of course, I'll be putting a lot of info. You can be in the right directions with the right skill sets. That's the point, right? So if technology do not exist or exists 10 years ago, you should not be learning those. And that's why more emphasis is on learning the new skills in technology, cloud, AI, machine learning, cybersecurity. Okay. I have people reaching out to me with bachelor's and master's and not having a job because they have a job difficulty. Because why? They do not have experience. So if you do not have experience and you have a master's degree or bachelor's, for example, then that's a tough thing because you already spent your number of years and fees and everything. So I will be sharing some on that also. That how you can make yourself qualified. I'm coming back to your question also. So these are the things, right? How do you become qualified? And there are some scenario which you can overcome the obstacle of experience, and you can be qualified and get those jobs. And another discussion is around, okay, how can you develop your skills where you don't need to go to a college, or you may not have a degree, whatever the reason is, right? You may not even afford it, but you may will, right? But what you're going to do in the next few years to develop those skills? Because all of a sudden there's a huge demand of IT and skills and everything, right? So recent example I want to give you from uh, I'm taking all the questions, those who joined me on TikTok, and I would appreciate if you join me live on YouTube, because the idea is that the YouTube session will be recorded and will be available. And your question you asking me here on TikTok will be helpful to somebody else when they come to the recorded sessions. I would appreciate go to my link profile and go to YouTube and ask me the question, because I'll be answering these questions people have just signed in. So I would appreciate to join on me YouTube. And so I was talking about some of those or courses and training where you don't need to have a degree college, right? But it doesn't mean you are pursuing a degree and you just stop doing that. That's my point. If you can afford it, go for it. If you can, there are so many areas. If you look at so many jobs available, especially during COVID and all that, new jobs are coming every day. So you can literally develop your skills. And what I mean that you develop your skill, you want to develop your career, which can be sustained for next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. That's what you need to be doing, right? It's not a job itself. You have to develop the career. So what are the things what you need to be doing, right? So let's me take a couple of more questions and we go from there. Yeah, some people asking on TikTok, but I would say, yeah, can you ask this question on YouTube again? I have people on YouTube, but I want TikTok. What I'm telling the people on TikTok, please join me on YouTube, because these questions can help others to answer their question in the future, right? So I would appreciate if you join me on YouTube and ask this question on YouTube. I'm already also live on their YouTube. So question is from Saim Chipa. I'm doing associate in cyber security and don't have an experience right now. How can I get in cybersecurity entry level job so I can get the experience? Right. Very good question. Many times asked. I think this question have been asked number of times, right? So that's the point of answering the question here. It will get recorded and many of you can come back and watch the session. So getting a job without experience is tough. That's true. We all know that, right? So you need to then have a qualified skill, right? So entry level job. So let me give you an example. For you go for apply for a job for cybersecurity, you need to have a solid skills on operating system like Windows, Linux, Macs, networking. You got to be solid with networking skill, TCP, IP, DNS, DHCP, troubleshooting, and all that stuff, right? You need to understand the IP. You need to understand the network and all that stuff. So if you are capable of expressing or showing your qualification in an interview, that will help. But that comes after. First thing comes is your resume. So even in the resume, in my opinion, if you do not have experience, you need to show your skills. Now, if you don't have experience, but you can put something on your resume, when you write your objectives and whatever, but current studying cybersecurity, blah, blah, blah. I have expertise in problem solving, and give some example. Okay, I've been able to troubleshoot incident, or I've been able to learn this thing where we have learned Wireshark for network packet inspection, right? So you need to work on the tools, or you can say, I have used Metasploit tool, or I have used Virus Total tool for finding the application with security threats and all that. So you need to bring at least one of those qualification, at least one of those tools which are being used in actual job, because even though you do not have experience, but you're bringing value, you're showing that, okay, you're capable of that, all these basic skills and all that, right? For cybersecurity associate, you might be learning how to secure a wireless network, WEP and WP plus, right? So how do you make sure plus two? I believe so. So Express, I've been able to configure and do this. This is something you can do at your home to secure your network at your home. So that's kind of a skills and qualification you need to show in your resume. That's one thing. And also try to find some job where you may work for somebody for free, couple of hours a week, for non-profit, for a school or something. There are so many jobs available, remote jobs online. Do that. So you need to show your qualification. Hey, I'm capable of doing that. That's the way is gonna attract the hiring manager. That this guy, they don't just have some certificate. They know what they're doing. So you go in more technical depth. I've received some people who send me the resume, yeah, and they were all missing this information. So that's you need to be putting there. CCNA, yeah, this question I've been asked many times about CCNA. And I will repeat some of the people who are asking me question also on the TikTok, but let me first cover the one on YouTube. So CCNA, I don't recommend, and I'll give you the justification. Uh, CCNA, if you want to learn networking, it will help. Um, there are two ways to look at it, right? And if you want to focus your job more on networking side, is going to help for sure. But with doing the CCNA, yeah, there are already some experts in the market for 4, 5, 7, 8 year system administrator. So if you look at the job, how soon you're gonna get the job and skills. What I would rather say, do cloud network engineering, learn basic of networking from CCNA like IP, subnetting, CIDR, and all that basic concept without going to the detail on CCNA, and learn the fundamentals and basic of networking, and then follow the path for Azure Network Engineer Cloud or AWS Cloud Engineer path, because cloud will be there for the next 10 years, for example. So now you're bringing your fresh skills. So there are not enough people in the market compared to CCNA. You put on resume, you'll find 10,000 people with CCNA, for example. But you may not be find 10,000 people with cloud engineer. There may be 1,000 people or 2,000. So you're not competing with those. And those people are already in the market. They're expert, they're experienced. So that's the reason I've put a number of time comments. That's the reason I do not want or recommend CCNA, but I'm not saying it's not worth it. But you need to decide and you need to think, you spend 6 months, in my opinion, just learn the skills required, the major fundamental in first 2 months, and then add those with your cloud networking. This is what you need to develop your career. But again, with CCNA, you will end up working in a telco, in Verizon, T-Mobile, these companies. I set up my virtual machine in Azure and AWS. I don't do routing switching anymore. I just set up network configuration, network security group, IP addressing. Everything is predefined, designed. I just define that gateway. I don't even have to configure. That's the reason I don't need those networking skills. And I have my friends, they are CCIE. They have done 2 or 3 CCIs. So, and CCI security or CCNP security, if you go towards that path, that may help you. So you really need to know, where you want to see yourself in a couple of years, and then add skills according to that, right? Or add. But that being said, if you're still confused, just don't wait. Start learning something. That's the best advice. Don't wait and waste most of time. Whatever you think make the most sense, start learning, because time is very important. Now I've taken 2 questions from here. Let me see. Scope of network plus. Let me go and I'll repeat those questions. All right. QA tester form, but not IT background. What job, other role? So somebody asked me one question that someone's wife worked as a QA tester, but not IT background. That's a tough. No IT background, and you wanna do. I would say try with something project management, which is a less of a technical, and Salesforce admin, I believe, with no IT background, because and then learn remote learning tools like Microsoft Teams, highly used in so many companies, and so that's what I would think. But that's, again, you need to have something technical. Again, there are so many areas, like you can learn Google Ads, you can do Google Analytics, you can learn Facebook, you can do social media marketing, right? So unlimited opportunities depending where you want to see yourself. Even not learning IT, right? And then you have to do your homework and find what are the job rates. So usually you can find these kind of average salaries or average contract per hour without even knowing some IT data analyst or some of the basic skill set. I hope that answers. Second question: how to work in when you're not from IT background? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're not in IT background, you have to develop. That's what I'm saying. There are areas you can start building your skills, but you need to know some IT fundamentals. And then you can go to project management, which is not IT. So why project management? Because companies are migrating to cloud, and I've seen this for the last 8-10 years. Before, there were data center migration or project migration. For these migration projects, they need people with project management skill who can deliver the project on time. So our project manager profile is they work with different teams, and the project manager is to chase those teams and work with them, and um, and then make sure a project gets delivered on time. So project manager job is more of a scheduling, coordinating, reaching out, making deliverables, making a Gantt chart, resource optimization, utilization, planning, and everything. So that's a very interesting role. So that's perfect, and this is will give you an opportunity to learn some IT, and then you can be managing more technical projects in IT. But I recommend people to think and look into project management. Now I'll go to YouTube and take some questions from there. How to get in QA tester profession? Yeah, that's not my area, QA testing. I know a guy who can help, but if you reach out to me offline, I'll probably connect you with them or him. He's based out of Chicago. So, yeah. The next question from M and a Malik Banam, I guess. A degree in cybersecurity and 6 months of semantic DLP experience. I'm a security admin. Yes, Microsoft Azure Security is perfect, and it's very technical, insanely technical. And you need to have experience, right? With Microsoft Azure Security 500 program, it's a lot of hands-on. Make sure you do it right, and you will be good. It's a very good certification, and requires a lot of effort. And yeah, you made a good choice. Yeah. For my contact, it's already there. If you go to my website, iMentro Cloud, let me type that, and then all the contact details are there. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm on the YouTube because YouTube session is being recorded. So all these questions you may have, or somebody with the same question, they can come back and watch this session. So I'll keep it on YouTube to avoid any repetitive question I've been getting all the times. Okay, now the question from what is the scope of Network Plus? All right, so Network Plus, I put in the fundamental. Network Plus will get you somewhere for the job, like you do CompTIA, IT Fundamental, Essential, A Plus, and Network Plus. And then you will be in somewhere in IT support or help desk and all these IT, maybe sysadmin, for example, if you combine all these courses. So Network Plus is very dense, good course, and could be a stepping stone to get into your next career job. Yeah, so Network Plus is good, but then once you get a couple of years experience or maybe 1 year experience, depending your projects you work on, it will help you move on next into your career, because this Network Plus course has a lot of in the syllabus, very good. Syllabus is pretty structured and pretty good. So that's why Network Plus is good. So cybersecurity. Okay, so Samir, I think Samir, I've answered your security administration course. Is it okay? I have BS. Yes, Azure Security Administrator 500. Perfect. You cannot go wrong with that. Requirement to become data scientist. That's a tough one. I mean, you can Google it, you can find it. I would say career is good. So your question would be the career about the data scientist career is pretty good, because a lot of it requires skills with mathematics and some algebra, I believe, some linear maths. So because you develop those models, but if you're good at that, in this area where you then have to program in Python and put those algorithms. That's what a data scientist is. So yeah, if you have interest, then of course, data scientist has a very bright and very good career and future. Um, no, I live in New Jersey. Yes, I live in New Jersey. Do you have a training placement as well, or do you know someone who? Yeah, I have. So Raj or Raja, I on my if you go to my website, I have published boot camp. Those who are interested in training, if you go my website on YouTube, I put the link. I mentor cloud, or if you on TikTok, go and click on my profile. You go to my website, which has a boot camp. Boot camp is very condensed, instructor led. It's not you watching a YouTube and a plural site and you have no one to ask anything. So it's instructor led, because this is what IT matters, because you need to have your question answered. What if you get stuck? What if your internet is not working? What if your browser is not working? What if TCP/IP, something breaks for the starters? So these kind of questions and these kind of question scenario you get in your job. What if my email is working on my cell phone, and what if my email is not working on my Outlook? How am I going to troubleshoot? So that's the concept of the boot camp. Troubleshooting, and what it makes at the job. You can watch the training, but how would you deal with those technical scenarios, right? How to implement a multi-factor authentication, how to secure your identity, right? So those two boot camp I have just published, one in advanced, one is for beginners. Go take a look. So there is somebody Jingle. Yeah, this guy, I think he has some problem, but that's why I never blocked him, and I never responded. And I'm just gonna skip. This guy seems to be crazy and out of his mind and asking me stupid questions. So I'll pass on. Really, no. So he's asking me if I ever worked in IT. So go figure out. I have no time to answer you. This is a stupid question. What is the stack scope of a full stack developer? Yeah, I mean, full stack developers are good, but I have a question back to you. Are you starting, or you already there? Because if you're starting your career as a full stack developer or anything in developer, I would suggest you to go into the DevOps. DevOps is hot, automation is hot. So that's an area you may want to look into. If a person in IT is not from IT background, what is the best way to step in IT? Yeah, as I said before, if a person is not IT okay, so there are two ways to do it. If you want to be a technical career path, you can learn all the CompTIA courses as a base. That's one path. Or you can get into project management and try to get the IT projects. So for project management, if you want to be taking serious, do PMP. But that's more of theory and all that. But that's one more. But this is less technical. It's more of a managing the projects. And also at the same time, I recommend people take all three of these, maybe certification or not. What is uh, Azure Fundamental, AWS Associate, and M365 Fundamentals. So they're courses designed for people in sales and marketing and people with a senior leadership role to understand how cloud works and does not require any prior experience. So that's the best way to step into IT, understand what's the cloud, how does it work, what is the economy of a scale model. That will help you understand, and that's the one of the way to getting into IT without learning a lot of or less technical way of getting into IT, and then go into the project management or similar stuff. You could be a service delivery manager as well, where you don't work directly, but you work you with your team to deliver those projects, which is another less of a technical role. I'm typing. Somebody asked me my website again, so I'm gonna put. Right, I have a developed AI-based image classification model for healthcare. Okay, so you're an IT guy. You developed it. So what's your question? So if you developed AI-based image classification, okay. So what's your question specifically? I have a diploma in cloud computing. I have a basic knowledge of cloud fundamentals. I have no experience. Okay, so this is from Karandeep. So Karandeep is saying he has a diploma in cloud computing. Nice. I have a basic knowledge of cloud fundamentals. I have no experience. What certification would you suggest? So no experience, but no some background of IT, right? So in your case, Karandeep, I will suggest you to do Azure fundamentals and Microsoft 365 fundamentals. The reason why every corporate, all these companies, they use Windows 10 and all these devices and all that. So they already have a Microsoft infrastructure. And after COVID, so many companies and school now move on, university colleges to Microsoft 365. They all use Microsoft Teams. So if you develop your expertise on Microsoft platform, there are more chances for you to get the job much faster, much easier, and that would be your next path. And then getting into Office 365 administration job role. If you subscribe my YouTube channel, there are more videos coming on the same topic. I have already put some tutorial already on this channel. Maybe if you go back, there are tutorials available for the last, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years. This channel started 4 or 5 years ago. So I've been putting very technical content, but all of for the past few months, I've seen more requests for people getting into IT. So that's why I'm putting some uh, basic stuff for people to step into IT, because there's tremendous job opportunities and you can really do a good career. So, Karandeep, there you go. I have answered. If you have any question, let me know. You're saying within 3 months of your training, people can get 2 years experience, right? Yeah, it's all instructor led, hands on. So this is based on troubleshooting. So let me give you an example. Take a support role, and you get on a job, and then you need to troubleshoot in Microsoft Outlook. That's the IT support job role. If you go on traditional training, you just know how to use it, but you don't know how to troubleshoot it. And there are basic scenarios. Same thing with troubleshooting of network and troubleshooting of TCP/IP and all those scenarios. So this is based on scenario. What would you do if this situation happens, right? So that's the program and idea. Once you enroll, that's how you're going to learn what those job issues and problem and how to address and how to work on that. So it's really designed based off that, totally hands-on, and you will get a chance to learn uh, exactly what happens in the job on those job roles. And there are many labs and exercises you can go and do it, so which will really make you learn and get to the level of expertise, right? All right, so are there any more questions on YouTube? I think I'm pretty much done. So that's being said, I just want to add, because you could be starting this thing on your own. So the thing matters in IT is experience do matter. Experience do matter, but you need to have qualification, hands-on experience. So that's why the more you start with yourself, and that's how the IT thing works. You need to practice. That really can get you the job, the projects, and all those stuff. So somebody asked me a question: what is the difference between MS 365 and Office 365? Since you ask, I will answer you, but the best answer is Google it. So M360, Microsoft 365 is part of M365. If you have more specific question, I can go on and on. But Microsoft 365 is a broader offering, and Office 365 is one of those three. So there are different services M365. I hope that it answered your question. If you need more details or explanation, I can go on. Yes, I answered this question before. Network Plus is good. Yeah, Network Plus is good to have. You're gonna learn a lot in Network Plus. So I'll take one or two more questions. We're like top of an hour or half an hour, like 30 minutes. Um, yeah, good luck with your exam. It's a good exam. Get certified, and yeah, that will help you develop your Network Plus. Depending, the syllabus is good and it's very structured. But it's when you do something more and more practice, things get easier. But if it's hard, so it means it's your comfort level. Um, but if you have any specific question, you can ask. For Network Plus or something, trainings, I would say just go. There are simulation. I always tell like that the way I learn it, I do practice labs myself a lot because it gives you the confidence. Something you do it over and over again, you know how these things work, right? And that's fine any exam, any certification. So if you do Network Plus and your question is you need to go to the next level or something, after one certification you need to keep learning, but at the same time you need to get the job, right? So get on the job, because job experience nothing can beat, right? So you need to have a very good job experience. And with Network Plus and all these, it will add value. So yeah, if you want to do something next, I would say look into cloud. Don't ignore cloud. There are more chances for you to get the job if you write something related to cloud. So you do Network Plus and then add um, what practice lab is best to buy. That's something I have checked. I don't have on top of my mind, but if you message me, I'll check out with some other folks uh, for the network related. Um, a couple of friends who are like CCIE, I would just ask them to recommend because they are more professional. They do in-depth networking. So if you want to check back, personal message me or email me, whichever, then I will get back to you. Yeah, Karandeep, you can go with the AZ900. Let me type it for you. AZ900 and MS900 on YouTube. You were asking. So do these certification. They're basic level. Okay. Uh, if you even don't want to do it, for example, but I would recommend doing is good to have your resume, because you may not enter into a very technical role. You may get a job where you are customer facing. A technical account manager is a very known role where it's not a technical role, but you work with the customer on technical stuff. So companies and partners, they hire people for this role. So this is good. So always say, if you can afford a certification, go for it, do it. It makes difference. And of course, it doesn't mean it replaces experience and certification. You cannot go wrong. So experience is must, but certification on top of that definitely is going to help you. So learn it and try to get on those roles which are less technical with this certification. Then it can help you and grow, and then you can decide based on your job where or which direction you want to go next. Guys, if you have more specific question, then what I'm going to do, uh, so before I hang up, I want to add one advice or tip for resumes, because people reach out to me and they send me their resumes. And in your resume, even if you have masters in cybersecurity, but you are not writing your tools. If you're a cybersecurity master, You should have worked on Metasploit. You should have worked on Wireshark. You should have worked on Virus Total. Some, those new tools. Just Google it. What are the tools? Start learning, and put those in your resume. These are what the skills or the expertise employers are looking for. If you just have a master's in cybersecurity, ain't gonna get you a job, right? You got to have something to offer to the employer. So that's one of the thing what I've seen in a number of a number of resumes. So people asking me again, yeah, those who just dialed in, I've been telling them join me on YouTube because YouTube session is going to be recorded, but I'm still answering and taking those questions. So I'm going to repeat the question from um, uh, uh, TikTok. Which cloud should I choose, AWS or Azure? Okay. And I have a question here again. What do you think about QA testing role and scope? So let me ask you the one. Yeah, this is question I've been asked many times. Which clouds to choose? It's a very tough one, really. You need to know your local market. So I'm looking at this because I'm live on YouTube. I'm recording the session, so that's why I'm not looking at the camera on the on the TikTok, because I'm recording the session here on YouTube, and you can come back and check. So AWS and Azure, they are both hot. They are both in demand. So you need to know your local market. You need to go search online in your job portal and see where the employees are hiring more, right? So I will help you and give you kind of a more understanding. If you look at any financial banks, airline, all these companies, they all use Windows, Microsoft, email, and everything. Of course, so there is a demand for Azure. At the same time, they also run so many applications, Oracle, SAP, and all that, you name it. And their background probably running on Linux and AWS. So there is, it's very tough because you need to then decide. You cannot go wrong, in my opinion. You take either direction. But if you come to develop your career on the software as a service, where in Microsoft you have Power BI, in Microsoft you have SharePoint Online, Power Automate. On Microsoft you have an Exchange Online, Office, whole range. That does not have in AWS. So you need to understand, right? But if you want to be a expert on platform as a service or infrastructure as an architect or infrastructure as a service role, where you want to do a lot of automation or system deployment, yeah, both are same. You cannot just go wrong. So you pick anyone, but don't put too much time to decide. Whatever you think works based on your local job industry, start developing. Cloud is the future. You cannot go wrong with any cloud. Yep, Sifu Farouk, I hope I answered your question. You're from Sydney. Thanks for joining in. I appreciate it. All these questions are recording on YouTube. You can come back. People have already asked so many good questions. So yeah, so this is how you guys gonna help each other asking this question. And I'm gonna take one question from YouTube and then come back to here on TikTok. QA testing roles and scope. Yeah, that's not my area, to be honest. I reached out to me offline. I know a guy based out of here. I think he is into QA testing. So if you are interested, I can get you connected. But that's not my domain. So if you connect me offline, I'll get you guys connected and you can have this question. Or maybe I can bring that guy on my show next time. That's fine. I mean, two people asked this question. Or maybe put a video on YouTube with him, a recorded live session. I can do that. So if you follow my channel, subscribe it, and I'll be putting, because those videos people will be based on the feedback from the people like you, and that's got to be on YouTube so more people can come back and learn. Paulie Ahmed, I'm interested in I do IT course. Can you offering any online course and how I can register it? Yes, Paulie. Go to my website. On my profile link, you find a boot camp. Those are instructor-led trainings at boot camp, and they are based on real job scenario, troubleshooting scenario. There are two. One is beginner level, one is advanced level. If you're looking for hands-on training, instructor led, those are the course available on my website, and that's what I'm offering online. And I have a number of recorded session and webinars and technical tutorial even on my YouTube, where I'm showing how to configure something in Office 365. If you go to my YouTube channel, link is in our profile, subscribe it and watch it. So there are videos available from the last 2 years. You can go and learn. So I'll be putting more in future. But again, if you're looking for a condensed program to get you on speed, go check out my website. Can you talk about Sydney cloud market? I don't know, man. I cannot talk about Sydney. I can only talk about US market. That's where I live. That's where I know. But connect me offline. I can give you some pointer how you can figure out and understand your local market. I can help you offline some of those, understanding local market. Those who are still there on TikTok, come back to on YouTube. Ask me. I'm gonna end my session. I think it's pretty much 40 minutes. So I thank you, everyone. If you want me to keep doing this, I can do at least once a week. If not, then every other week, same time Thursday. And if you are interested in more and more topics, let me know offline. I can bring more people on the show. I can bring people, even maybe, yeah, if my friend has time, they are CCIE, I can bring them here on the show. I have a number of cloud architect, cybersecurity engineer, architect, so it all depends how much information you're looking for. I've been in IT for so many years, so I can pretty much cover all topics. But again, QA and all that stuff, I can. So I can ask those people if they're willing to come and provide me some information, so I can put a video here or maybe on YouTube or TikTok. So that's being said, I appreciate it. I'm going to go offline, and I'll see you sometime in the future based on your feedback. Thank you and bye. And thank you and bye, TikTok.